Why are these the most bought players and why are these the most sold players this week leading into Game Week 8? I have spent thousands of hours building the greatest data comparison sheets on planet Earth to give me the FPL edge. So in this video, we can use it to review the most popular transfers this week to understand if the data backs up these moves and if we should do the same. Welcome to FPL Sucks, and boy doesn't it suck. Sometimes it sucks bad, sometimes it sucks so good. You can make the best decisions on paper, but it all depends on if the FPL gods decide to bless you that particular week. Unfortunately, last week, the gods decided to mock me. 2 points above the average for my team, but I needed 5 more points for that green arrow. I don't know what else I can do to appease the FPL gods. I'm telling you, I am close to going primitive in my approach. I'm going to start wearing nothing but a cloth, performing a rain dance, sacrificing local children in a temple, everything. Anything I can do just so the gods smile down on me and bless me with perhaps, an extra bonus point here or there, but I guess it depends on the quality of child I sacrifice. But right now, before we offer up our firstborn, we are here to look at the most popular transfers. So let us start with the most transferred in player this week, Semenyo. But first, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for weekly FPL Sucks videos. Right, so Semenyo, it did look like he was possibly slowing down a bit, maybe against Brighton and Newcastle. His penalty touches were going down, his big attempts were going down, his shots in the box were going down, his expected goal involvements going down in comparison to the overall figures he was pulling for the season as a whole. So it did kind of look like he was slowing down, but then against Fulham, he just smashes it. His shots in the box, 3 shots in the box that game, a goal involvement of 3. He absolutely smashed it that game with, I think, what did he get, 18 points? And his price is just going through the roof. Started off at 7 million? Was he? 7 million. It seems crazy to think that he was 7 million when now he's about 8 million. And does that mean it's too late for you to get him? I don't think so. I mean, just because he was 7 million at the beginning of the season and now he's 8 million, if he's a quality player that's gonna add points to your team, don't worry too much about the price. If you can squeeze him in, get him in. Why? Because the next games coming up are favorable indeed for Semenyo. Against Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Man City, Aston Villa. Obviously, those aren't going to be easy games, but are they scoreable games for Semenyo? Of course they're scoreable games. And if you just look at his expected goal involvement and actual goal involvement compared to other midfielders, he's far outpacing them, and his performance against Fulham is just showing that he isn't going to stop. So get him in your team. The sheeple are correct. They're mass transferring him in. Get him in now. Next up is Haaland. Now, he didn't have the best game against Brentford, but overall his last 4 games he's been absolutely smashing it in comparison to other forwards. And although his price has increased up to 14.5 million, at least 14.5 million, he's still a good person to pick. Like, for instance, if you get rid of Salah, which we'll talk about later, you can try and grab in Haaland in the forward position and then perhaps downgrade to actually another good midfield option, which we're also going to talk about later in this video. So everything's connecting here, so don't worry. But Haaland in particular, he only really had 1 big attempt against Brentford, but he slotted it away because he's an incredible finisher. If we compare his expected goal involvement and actual goal involvement against other forwards, he's far outpacing everybody. So he's an incredible option. Of course, that's why he's 14.5 million and people are racing to get him in. So is he a player you should look to get in? Of course, because his next 4 game weeks probably on par, if not maybe a little bit better than his last 4 games. So he's got Everton next, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Liverpool, definitely scoreable games. And although some people might say obviously Liverpool is going to be a difficult fixture, they are conceding goals, Liverpool, and they've been slipping up recently. So I cannot see a reason why you wouldn't want to get Haaland in other than his price. But if you can get him in, do your best to slip him in your team. Honestly, I've got him in my team. I'm thinking about getting Semenyo. On top of that, go ahead, try and get Haaland in ASAP. Next up is Woltemade. Oh, God, I just know I butchered that name. It doesn't matter. I regret not getting this player in my team. I was seriously considering him, and I've no idea why I didn't, because I even said in a previous video that Newcastle are making chances. They just needed a player up top to score them. Now, if you kind of look at his performance against other forwards, he isn't outperforming a huge amount as we saw with Haaland, but he's still outperforming currently he's just at 7.2 million. He is definitely a good option. His last 4 game weeks, he's averaged a goal involvement of, I think, 0.9. So on average, he's predicted to get about 1 goal a game in the last 4 games he's played. So he's really good. But is he someone that you should look to keep getting in for the next games? Again, fixtures are looking quite favourable for this player. Brighton is next, Fulham, West Ham United, and Brentford. Definitely scoreable games, definitely for this player. Again, he's an option. I haven't found a player I disagree with yet. The masses, the sheeple bringing in all these players, I haven't found one that I disagree with yet. And well, I'll just call him Nick. His name's Nick. His last name is Woltemade or whatever. Nick is also a strong option to get in. So definitely consider bringing him in for your team. Well done, Sheeple. Well done. Next up is a player I have mixed feelings about. It's Caicedo. Now, I have him in my team, and he's been fantastic for me. I brought him in when no one else had him. His ownership percentage was maybe 5%, and now I think it's well over 10%. 11, 12%, something like that. Now, why do I have mixed feelings about it? Because I don't want anyone else having him. I've been recommending him, but I didn't actually want people to go out and get him. He's just been absolutely incredible. And because of that, his price has risen, and obviously that's benefited me. But why did I get him? I got him for different reasons why I'm assuming most other people are bringing him in now, because he has been slotting away chances. He's been scoring goals, which is not something I was expecting him to do. I brought him in for the defensive contributions. He has been reliably racking up those defensive points week in, week out. I think only 1 game he didn't get the defensive contributions, but on top of that, he's been getting goal-scoring bonuses as well, which is fantastic. I love it. And I got him in. He was originally 5.5 million, and now I think he's edging up to 5.7, 5.8 million. And should you get him in? Well, this is where I might disagree that he's probably not a priority for most people. If you're looking for a cheap goal-scoring midfielder, he's not the one. He's not the one. Even though he has been slotting away his chances, he's been massively outperforming his expected goal involvement. His expected goal involvement is well below the average for a midfielder, and his actual goal involvement is well above the average for a midfielder. So he's been really overperforming in that aspect. So he's unlikely to keep up these figures. So don't bring him in expecting these goals frequently. Bring him in as a very cheap option to gain those extra defensive contribution points, so you can save that money to bring in other players like Semenyo, who is going to bring in attacking returns. And of course, every now and then, Caicedo may gift us a goal or two, so bring him in for the right reasons. Now let's move on to the most transferred out players. And remember, if you've enjoyed this video, please do like it and subscribe to the channel for weekly videos just like this and more. Okay, so who is now the most transferred out player this week leading into game week 8? Can you believe it? It's Mohamed Salah. He just hasn't lived up to his reputation. How many years has he been in FPL now, absolutely smashing it, being the player with the highest points scored just year in, year out. But now he's the most transferred out player, and his price as a result is falling down now to 14.4 million. And poor Mo, he hasn't had a fantastic time the last 4 games. He played Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Everton, and Burnley, and in that time he only averaged about 1.8 shots in the box per 90 minutes. Big attempts, one big attempt a game. And of those big attempts, he only scored 0.3 of them. However, if you actually look at his expected goal involvement and actual goal involvement, he still does outperform the average midfielder in the game. But at 14.5 million, he just hasn't been worth it when other options like Semenyo and even Caicedo have been out scoring him. He just hasn't looked like an attractive option, and it's just been better to spend your money elsewhere. So I can 100% understand why he isn't favoured right now and people are booting him. And oh god, if you watch my last video, I was going to, but I missed the goddamn deadline. I was going to transfer him out and get in Semenyo. And that would have got me that green arrow I was missing out on. But hey, live and learn. Next up, Liverpool have Manchester United, Brentford, Aston Villa, Man City. His next 4 games are looking harder than his previous 4 games. I do not doubt he's going to score a goal or 2, but are there stronger options out there? Well, if you've looked at Semenyo's form recently, 100% there are better options out there. Next up, the player on the chopping block is Jack Grealish. His price has shot up drastically, 6.9 million, and people, I assume, are mass transferring him out just because he's not available to play against Man City rather than his form, because his last game against Crystal Palace, he absolutely smashed it. 10 points, 3 bonus points, a goal involvement with an XG of 0.5. He had a very good game, and despite perhaps slowing down a little bit when he played against West Ham, Liverpool and Aston Villa, his kind of expected goal involvement crept down by 33% in comparison to his season as a whole. But his performance against Crystal Palace just showed what he is capable of. So if you have him, should you transfer him out? For me, I don't think I'll be done. I'm just going to be putting him on the bench, and I'm just going to substitute someone else in for the time being against Man City, and then look to bring Jack Grealish back against Tottenham. Who calls them Tottenham now? Against Spurs, who they have after City, followed by Sunderland and Fulham. So definitely some good opportunities there for Jack Grealish to get some points. So I disagree with transferring him out. Just put him on the bench if you have him, or if you don't have him yet, transfer him in after Man City to face those 3 good-looking fixtures. The third most transferred out player is Joao Pedro. Now, not to sound smug or anything. I mean, yeah, I am. I do want to sound smug, but I told everybody, yet no one listens because no one watches my channel. I always said he isn't the most reliable goal scorer. Even for Brighton, he didn't have a strong... I think last season, half of his 10 goals were penalties, and he's not the main man on penalties, whilst, you know, if Palmer is injured or not injured, whatever, he's not the main man at Chelsea for penalties. And his performance last 4 game weeks have just been slowing down. I had him for the first 4 game weeks of the season when he actually was flying high, and I quickly got rid of him when he kind of plateaued and dropped his performance a little bit. I thought this was the beginning of the end, and it kind of does look like it. If you look at his last 4 games, so who did they play? They played Liverpool, Brighton, Man United, and Brentford. On average, during those 4 games, he got an expected goal involvement of 0.1. 0.1 in goal involvement. He would need to, on average, if you were to go by that, you would have to play 10 games to get an expected goal involvement of 1. That is terrible for a forward who currently is worth 7.7 million. I don't even remember when he last scored a goal, but it certainly wasn't recently. But at 7.7 million, he's too expensive for the form he's currently on. If we look at his actual season-to-date performance against the average forward, he has underperformed in his expected goal involvements compared to the other forwards on average, and he's overperformed in terms of his actual goal involvement. And with his next games against Nottingham Forest, well, actually Nottingham Forest, he could actually score against Nottingham Forest now thinking about it, but then Sunderland, Tottenham, Wolves, you would think that those are scoreable games. Again, he's not in form, and he's probably not been played in the best position for him to capitalize from it. So if you don't have him, should you get him? Definitely not. If you have him, should you sell him? Yeah, I'd say so. Avoid Joao Pedro. And there we have it. The most transferred in and out players this week leading up to game week 8. I definitely think there are some good options there for us to consider. So go ahead and make your teams all that much better. I want to see you getting those green arrows and rising up the ranks, because my goal is to finish the season in the top 1% of all FPL managers, and we're on that road. And I want you on that journey with me. Let us join forces. We're on the journey together. So please do remember to like and subscribe to FPL Sucks, and I'll see you in the next one.